What is going on, my beautiful people? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today, man. It's a beautifully hot day out here, man. I hope you guys are enjoying whatever the day is for you. It's a beautiful day that the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. In this video, what we're going to talk about is renewing your mind in Christ to the point where you start to think like how you want to think in Christ. Think like that and start to get your mind towards that. Now, what I'm talking about here is a lot of the times we have been so attuned to thinking about our insecurities, to thinking about validation, to thinking about the approval of people, to thinking about all that stuff that doesn't really matter in the end of the day. But we have been so attuned to thinking about that stuff that it's hard to go away. And sometimes we feel like, has my mind just been wired to think this way? Is there any way that I can actually start to have control over how I think, over my emotions, over how I feel towards certain people, acting a certain way towards certain situations? Can I change that? Yes, it is possible. So I've been reading this book called Inner Excellence, and he talks about the ability to do this, and I've kind of made my own type of way of doing this. So, you know, a lot of the times you want to think in a way in Christ, not worrying about the approval of people, not worrying about that stuff, being able to surrender to him, being able to have fun and rejoice and have joy in life. Now, how do we go about that? The perfect way that I can put this is, so for me, I was trying to do it in my life, and the best way for me to practice being able to do this was on a game that I like to play called Call of Duty. And in the game, a lot of the times I would get upset or get a little angry, whatever it may be, and I didn't know if I could overwrite that initial reaction that my body was having, that I was feeling because I was getting upset, or because I wasn't necessarily having the most joy all the time when I was playing, or because I worried about the outcome so much that in the kind of high intensity pressure situations at the high level that I play, you get a little bit of the nerves, you get a little bit like of a shaky shot because you're kind of feeling that. So I was like, can I overwrite that? And what I started to do is have certain verses for how I wanted to think about the game, and I started to implement them into how I was playing. At first, I would try to hold like 3 or 4 in my mind at the time. It is not great to do that. I would recommend doing 1, maybe 2 at max at a time. But I realized, okay, if I don't want to get upset, I need to have a higher belief, a higher lollipop. I like to call it lollipops because you have to replace your small lollipop of me being upset, you being upset, with a higher lollipop of joy. Why is it important to have joy instead? Because the joy of the Lord is your strength, and if you realize the best results come from having joy, it's better to have joy and be happy even when you're getting smoked. So I realized that, and I started to implement that into saying the joy of the Lord is my strength while I was playing. When I started doing that, it's like every time you get killed, it takes a while. Of course, you still feel that reaction, but you're saying that. You're starting to get your mind into that. And over time, excuse me, oh my gosh, my bad, ladies and gentlemen, man. But over time, like I was saying, you start to get to the point where now, without even thinking about it, that joy is there. That is my initial reaction now to that. I love to have joy. Of course, there's gonna be some times where it gets a little bit, you're lagging or something, but that joy is still it has been wired into my mind. And now I know, like, I just wanna go up there and have fun, even when we're getting smoked. That is what we're doing in our life. I've done it with that joy, but I've also done it with removing the outcome. I have something that just tells me the outcome is not important. That's what I say. And when you realize that, all of a sudden, every time I say that while I'm playing the game, I don't really feel like the nerves. I don't really feel like, oh my gosh, if I die here, this is gonna suck. And that's so powerful. Now you can take that into your life. For me, I do it with communication. When I'm talking with people, I use the same things. The outcome is not important. The joy of the Lord is my strength. And it's a feeling that you're getting into and wiring into your brain, that your brain starts to know, okay, this is what we're trying to get into. And the next time, even if you're just gonna be in the moment, you're not even gonna say any of these things, your mind is more attuned to going towards that, and it is renewed in that. That's what we're trying to do, man. And it's so beautiful because it shows you the power of being able to rewire your brain in Christ. Find a verse for how you want to think. Do you want to have some more confidence? Do you want to have some more love for other people? Do you want to have some more joy, some more peace in your life? Find those moments where it's getting you out of that and start to wire it, the good into that. Start to wire this stuff into that, and over time it will become your normal state. It's so much better, it's so freeing knowing that you have the power to control your circumstance, even in the midst of struggle, even in the midst of uncomfortability, whatever you may be in right now. I love you guys very much, man. I'll talk to you on the next video. Peace.